Hey guys, welcome to Random Sauce. I'm Tim Olson, and this is the podcast where we simply think of things and we say them. That's as simple as it gets. I'm not lying to you. I'm thinking of something and I'm saying it. Anyway, I'm just letting you know before we get into this next discussion, you can head on over to randomsauce.net, not .com, because we don't own that site. You cannot access it. I wish we could buy it, but we unfortunately can't. Go to .net, randomsauce.net. That's where you can have access to all our past and future episodes of Random Sauce. You can have access to them, listen to them, enjoy them, whether you're in your car, whether you're at home, whether you're working out, whatever you want to do, just listen to them. Sit back, play, and have fun. So guys, randomsauce.net for all your future and past episodes. Today, Dan and I are talking about technology, but more specifically in the field of production. With NAB around the corner, there's going to be a lot of new technologies coming out, whether it be stabilizers, whether it be cameras, shooting 4K, whatever it may be, there's a lot coming out that spawns some ideas. It's springing some ideas to mind. And here we are, discussing them. Unless it's gonna be like in a couple weeks for me in Vegas, that's a whole nother story.
NAB?
Nothing's gonna come back from that. That's gonna be great health wise.
What are you excited most to see at NAB?
Okay, well, I doubt anyone cares listening to this, but I will say this: there's gonna be
What
a
a
lot.
way to undercut yourself. Like, I asked you like a really cool question about
It
NAB.
is cool. No, it's a
There's
great question.
Like all this great stuff, and you're like, who cares? But in case you do,
it's a great question because I have so much passion for that kind of stuff, and I love it. It's just what I do.
Okay, I'm
but
giving you 2 minutes to explain.
I can easily explain. Very, very easily. Two things. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Two things in 2 minutes.
Go.
Here we go. First thing, last year we saw a new way of stabilizing cameras. It's not new.
What's it called?
It's something, well, it's called the MOVI. It's been around for a while. It actually is what was used to capture aerial photography and video. Basically, all it does is just uses gimbals on 3 axes to stable out your footage. Anyway, they've made it affordable and put it into a handheld rig. And it's what? And when I say affordable, that means many different
it's relative.
things. But
it compared to other technologies, it's affordable.
And I think what I'm getting at by saying affordable is last year was the introduction of going, hey, we can take this same technology, put it in a handheld rig, and people can use it on the ground. We're going to see a lot more different kinds of this exact same thing this year. We're going to see it. It's going to be even more popular this year. Okay, that's the first thing.
Okay, thing number one.
So first thing, we have stabilizer.
left.
All right, second thing is very simple. Very simple. We are going to see a lot of 4K cameras this year. We're going to see a lot more cameras than we usually do that shoot 4K resolution, which is 4 times the size of 1080p, which most TVs shoot. I'm not saying you need a 4K TV because you can take 4K footage and bring it down into 1080 and it looks even better than a camera that just shoots 1080. But with that said, we're going to see, not only are we going to see 4K, we're going to see affordable 4K. And when I say that, not like 30 grand. We're talking like $1,800 to $2,000 to $3,000 for a 4K cinema camera, video camera, what have you. We're going to see a lot of it this year.
That's good. I mean, I'm excited to see that. And you came in just under the wire. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, my question is, when are we going to see something better as far as data management for 4K? Because 4 times the size of, 4 times the file size.
That's true.
Shooting 4K, if you're shooting just a small 30-second spot, that's okay.
Yes.
But if you're sitting down and you're shooting hour-long interviews, there's no way that you can even do that at 4K.
That's true. And I think the workflow, really the only people that I've ever seen do 4K really well is Red. Red files, they of course do their best to compress them because they have their own codec. But with that said, it's probably the easiest to work with in terms of the workflow, getting it to your editor and back and forth, and just sending the files from the camera to the computer and transferring files and working with the raw footage. Easiest company that has the easiest system by far. Now, it's a very good question. What's going to get us the best data management? And will we see that come along with all these 4K cameras? That is the question that we're waiting for. And we see other things on the market. Atomos has the Ninja and has things that can...
Well, because you can record at 4K and it gets converted down to 1080 ProRes 422.
Right.
And so it's editing ready, and it's already brought down to the size
Right.
that like the smallest
Supposedly.
size that it can be.
There's rumors floating around, of course, of other cameras that we're still waiting on to hear final prices of, but we know for a fact that the GH4 from Panasonic is actually capable of shooting 4K at 10-bit, which now we're getting really technical.
Right.
422 out from the HDMI signal,
Which is great.
and that's amazing.
I've found out that this is, I don't know whether this is going to matter or not, but 422 versus 422 LT.
Yeah.
The only I technically go I like to go with LT because it's going to be you're going to have a 30% decrease in what you actually see, but the file size is pretty much in half. And you cannot tell the difference in the TVs that we watch it on. Now, if you're going to be editing something that's really effects driven, or you're going to be editing that footage a lot, then going for that higher codec is great. But if you're just going to be editing in and then straight out to be watching on like YouTube or something,
right?
The smaller, I mean, I wouldn't go to proxy. Jesus Christ,
and
no way.
It comes down to a few things. One being the it's interesting that you said for TV because you've been doing a lot of broadcasts lately. So you're thinking in terms of TV. I'm a web guy. I do a lot of stuff on the web. So there's actually LT. There's ProRes 422,
and there's HQ.
And then there's HQ, which is way over the top, and that's what things like the Blackmagic cameras shoot. They shoot 422 HQ, and
which only makes sense if you're going to be doing a lot of post-production effects work.
And just to keep it short for people who don't know what this means, it means for each step, like 422 and then 422 HQ and 422 LT, it means one's more data than the other. Obviously, HQ is the highest of the high, so it's going to be taking up way more data space than the other two. So with that said, I think the other thing it comes down to is your data management system. And then from there, Dan, like you asked, what's going to be coming out that's going to help move that workflow along and get you from point A to point B a lot quicker and smoother.
Because Thunderbolt, it really does move fast, but
it does.
The drives just aren't there yet.
Mac Pro, I heard, is amazing. The new Mac Pro from Apple is just incredible. That's what I heard. Have not worked on it yet. I hope to. And, that is filled with Thunderbolts, and Thunderbolt is fast, so we'll see. Has 6, yep.
I don't know enough about it to really comment on it, but saying that, I'm not going to really say much about it.
Don't say it if you don't know.
Right.
Say it. What the hell?
Oh no, I'm not a fan of the Thunderbolt drives yet. The lacies that I've found,
yes.
You can't daisy chain them. And I've read reviews that they crash. They get really hot and then they crash really soon.
Okay.
Which I don't think, that's not a working
method for
something that you need to work all the time.
I have worked with lacy a lot. A lot of my drives are lacy. I've also worked with Western Digital. What's interesting is hearing everybody's input on going, I'm not using that brand's drive because they've crashed on me. I feel like everybody's had a brand that's crashed on them, except for, you obviously don't hear a lot of G drive crashing.
Right.
But of course, we know people that would probably want to argue about this for forever.
Right.
But,
I know a couple people that would.
Yeah.
I bought a lacy drive that was crashed right from the box the other day.
Wow.
Which is fine. When I go on shoots, I bring 3 or 4 backup hard drives just in case this thing happens. So I had enough drives to get me through the shoot.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless of which drive company you use, you're gonna get a bad apple once again. But there's companies like Seagate. that their drives crash a lot more often than others.
Right.
But once we get into solid state drives, I feel like we're going to see drives crash fewer.
And that's the thing, like the Blackmagic cameras shoot, the 4K version and the cinema camera shoot on SSDs. The things like Atomos recorders, like the Ninja, record to an SSD. Now you have to check with those companies, but a lot of them have specific SSDs that you have to use. Otherwise, you will experience crashing. But I think what we should see here is because obviously when you back this data up, it's not just once. You got to do it twice and sometimes even a third time. If you really want to back it up and make sure that data's safe is the quote unquote word there.
Well, when I make a drive on a shoot, I make 2 drives at the same time.
Right.
So that way the producer can leave with a drive, and then I have a drive.
You
that
want
I
them
come
going
home
to
with.
completely different locations. You do not
Right.
want them in the same location.
I've had people ask me for both the drives, and then I just ask them, what's the point of me making two if you're going to take both of them? Because if you drop your bag, then both of them are going to be gone. Or if your plane goes down, heaven forbid, I have the drive still.
And then they say, get out.
Get out.
Get out. And then you say, have a nice flight home.
I hope nothing happens to the data I just gave you. No, but no, you want different destinations. You want
Yeah.
different carriers, and that's the point of having backups.
You're right, though. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Like, this coming year is going to be really interesting when it comes to resolution in video and seeing where it goes. Is it a fad? No, probably not. 4K is probably going to be here to stay, to be honest with you, because, you can use it for several different things. If you want to put it in a 1080 timeline, you have the ability to get like 2 to 3 different shots all in one shot.
Right, yeah,
'Cause
you can just punch it in,
Yeah.
change out what you're looking at, and that's great. It's just the data management
That's
and
true.
having a computer that's RAM heavy enough to be able to use
why-
that and seamlessly go from one shot to the next.
That's why I say Red's done it the best so far, so we'll see what comes about. But
Red's done it, but oh my god, people who use Red are fucking annoying.
What?
Like, oh, I have a Red camera.
you
It's the
just-
best camera.
you
This
just
film's gonna be
upset-
awesome because it's on a Red.
Listen
but
to
if
me,
you don't
listen.
know how to compose a shot and light it and use it well, your film is gonna suck major balls.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what you shoot it on. You can shoot it on an iPhone, and if you
Okay,
know how to do that
I
stuff,
am
it's
not-
gonna be
I
better
am
than
not-
a film shot on a Red.
Although some people would consider me a Black Magic fanboy, just a little
Don't
bit.
get me wrong. The Red camera is a great camera.
Let me say this just before you go all out on one brand of camera here, just shutting down the entire Red users. Fantastic camera, fantastic system.
Yes.
But let me say this: it doesn't matter what the camera is. If you think that this camera is going to get you the image, the cinematic quality that you're looking for in your video or short film or documentary, whatever it may be, or broadcast, whatever it may be, if you think this is the camera that's going to get you everything, no, it's not. The best camera with the best lens will always be the one that you have. It will always be
That's
whatever you
true.
can get your hands on. Because honestly, there's way more to it than just buying the camera. There will never be the
Like
perfect camera.
My
but-
grandma bought me a Red. Now I'm a DP.
Yeah. Now I'm a DP just because I own a Red. No, but,
But,
you are
know,
guaranteed
I've
to get
had
some
people,
work.
I've had.
That was a joke.
Hmm?
Oh, I said you are guaranteed to get some work there.
That's true. That's true. But I've had productions come to me and say, "Well, we have we're shooting on a Red camera. We have all these great things, but we don't have enough money
don't
in the
have a
budget
DP.
for we don't have money in the budget for audio. So you're gonna have to take a cut. We need all this so you're investing in a Red camera, but you don't have the budget for audio. You don't have the budget. Okay, because a movies is radio with picture.
Okay.
That's all a movie is. It's
Yes.
radio with picture.
Yes, okay. Sure, I can. Let's see what you're going to say next. Let's hear what you're going to say next.
So people invest all this money in the Red camera, or a DP with a Red camera, because it's gonna make your film. But then they skimp on things like pre-production, audio budget. They don't have a director who knows what's going on. They don't have PAs that know what to do next. But they think that this Red camera is going to be the thing that saves their whole production. They don't have an editor who knows how to handle the footage to tell a story. They don't have practical effects. They don't have visual effects. They don't have anything, but they think that this camera, because it shoots in 4K, is going to make their film.
Yeah, you do. I will say you do have a valid point. You have a very valid point. But where I think your point is flawed is that you keep downplaying the Red.
No, the Red camera is great.
But you keep downplaying like people buy that just to say that now I make everything that you would see in a theater, like
Right,
I am
right.
that quality. But no, the truth be told, it's any camera, Dan. It's any whatever it may be. You could grab a 5D or a 60D and say my film's gonna look the best now because I'm shooting DSLR.
Well, I guess all I'm saying is I'm going to turn a complaint into a piece of advice.
Yes.
My advice is, however much time you're spending on pre-production, it's not long enough.
Okay. It's very good.
However many questions that you've raised, it's not enough. It's not. You haven't asked yourself the critical questions of,
Right.
like, fundamentally, how am I going to make this film happen, and do I have it planned out well enough?
No one's going to know any of those answers throughout the entire production of their movie. But you can be prepared.
Yes.
You can prepare yourself as much as possible, but until you get to set, things are going to happen on the day of the shoot. It's going to rain. No, someone's not going to show up. The wardrobe lady isn't there, or or is stuck in traffic. Or things are going to happen. You're behind schedule. A catering guy could screw things up. Whatever it may be, something is always going to happen. So I think you have to prepare for the unknown. And how do you do that?
Pre-production.
In pre-production, and with that, just you also need practice in all these skills. You need to go out and you need to actually and know what it is you're getting to set with. Because I've gotten jobs before where they ask, "Have you used this camera before?" And I would say yes, even though I haven't.
But then you research the crap out of it.
I research the crap out of it, and I get there, and of course I know it. I just because I haven't worked on it, I know it. But with that said, though, I think it's very smart to do as much pre-production as possible, with knowing that you can't know everything.
Right, you're not going to know everything, but I'm just surprised at the number of people who are going out there to make a film or make something, and they've done the minimal amount of pre-production, because I think all they have to do is go out there with the camera and, with their first draft of the script, and then just shoot the crap out of it, shoot 7 different takes of the same scene, and then they can figure it out in post. The best people that I know, they've written 3 or 4 drafts of a script. They know exactly what angles they want to use, and they don't shoot more than what they'll need. They say, okay, shoot this angle. I want this. I want this. I mean, do you think that, like, on the set of like something like Breaking Bad, they're wasting production dollars shooting a scene that they know is never going to work?
No, everything, they've got it all to a science in something like that.
And I'm sure that there's a couple of scenes where they shoot it and then it turns out that we're not going to be able to use it, but they don't do that. They always cut every
scenes.
Single thing.
Right. There's always scenes that are cut. But I've
had productions where they shoot.
It's apples and oranges.
It's supposed to be like a 30-minute film, and then they end up making it like a 7-minute film. Because no, other way around. It's supposed to be a 7-minute film, but they end up making it a 30-minute film.
Here's a perfect example of that. I really sometimes get annoyed when I see a commercial that was worked on that should be 60 seconds stretched to 1:30 or 2 minutes, and I go, oh, this edit would have been amazing if you just cut a full minute out of it or cut 30 seconds out of it and just put it at that 30 or 60 second mark, and it would have just popped and it would have been great. Not saying that it looks bad, but the flow of it and the overall product would just be better stuck at a 60 or a 30. But that's basically what you're saying,
Yeah.
But wow, to me it's apples and oranges, because it depends on what the project is, what the budget is, and who you have involved. Because it's totally different if you and I go out, just hang out for a day and say, we're just gonna shoot a fun little 30-second commercial, okay?
Right.
And then we end up going downtown and we're shooting, and then all of a sudden we think of, oh, wouldn't it be cool to get this shot?
Right.
There's a time and place for that kind of stuff.
Right.
Not when there's a big budget involved. Not when you're supposed to
people
know
on
what you.
sets and
don't waste people's time.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love what I do. Even on the worst day, I still love what I do, and on the best day, it's incredible. I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my life.
You have to. There is no other way. There's no other option. You have to love the job that you are doing. I don't care if it's not even involved in production. Whatever it is, just love it. Love the job you are doing, because the minute you stop loving it is the minute you stop caring. The minute you stop caring is the minute you become homeless. I made a far jump there. I went for it and I jumped for it. But I felt like I'm now in school telling kids, like, stay in school, or else you will be homeless.
He will be homeless. It's
yes.
very true.
Yes.
Anyway, I feel like that's a good note to wrap up on.
Sure.
To just work harder than you're working now.
Yeah. Work. If you think you're doing a lot, do a lot more. You can always do better.
That's true.
You can always do better. And a lot of times, here's the last thing. A lot of times you won't know you can do better until after you've already done whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
So always look back, because I haven't been on a single set or a single project where I didn't learn something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always be a student.
Sure.
And that's, regardless of what you're doing, how far you've come, or how many years you've been doing it, you can always learn more.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.